So today I want to talk to you about the due diligence period. The due diligence period is the period during which you have an opportunity to perform your due diligence, to check things out and make sure they are as you want them to be before you purchase this home. So during the due diligence period, and it is a negotiable period, you and the seller can negotiate this. You might offer a 15-day due diligence period, and the seller might come back with 10 days, but the due diligence period is negotiable. And during that due diligence period, you can have any inspections done that you feel are necessary. A home inspection, chimney inspection, radon inspection. If there is a pool, you can have the pool inspected. Any inspections that you feel are necessary. And sometimes the home inspection will reveal things and include a recommendation that those particular items be inspected by a specific professional. So if the home inspector identifies an issue with the electrical system, that report might say that it is recommended that you consult with an electrician. So that's one of the reasons why it is important that you have your home inspection done at the front end of that due diligence period, so that if there are recommendations that you bring in other professionals to inspect specific systems, that you have time enough to get that scheduled and taken care of. Now, the due diligence period isn't only for home inspections. It's an opportunity for you to check out the neighborhood at different times of day, the weekend, morning, evening, midday. It's an opportunity for you to do some research on crime statistics in the neighborhood, to do some research on schools. If there are things that are important to you, you want to know if there are parks close by, or you want to know how far it is to get to your church or anything like that. The due diligence period is the time for you to be doing that work and to be getting answers to any questions that you have about the property and about the things that are important to you as it relates to the property. It's just highly recommended that you utilize that due diligence period as effectively as possible. Now, if for any reason you decide that you don't want to move forward with the purchase of the property, you can terminate the contract before that due diligence period has expired and get 100% of your earnest money back. That is really important. And if the due diligence period expires and then you decide to terminate the contract, you could lose your earnest money. Your only grounds for getting your earnest money back after the due diligence period has expired is, number one, if your loan isn't approved and you share that loan denial with the seller prior to expiration of your financing contingency, or if the appraisal comes in low and the seller is unwilling to reduce the sales price and you are unwilling to bring the difference to closing in cash, and the appraisal contingency has not yet expired when you notify the seller that the appraisal came in low. And the exception to that is if you're getting an FHA or a VA loan or a USDA loan. Under those circumstances, the appraisal can come back while you're sitting at the closing table, and you would still be able to get your earnest money back if it comes in low and you're not able to reach a price reduction agreement with the seller and you're unwilling to bring the difference to closing in cash. The other circumstance under which you would be able to get your earnest money back is if any other contingency that you have included in the property fails. So let's say, for instance, that your purchase of this home is contingent upon the sale of another home or the rental of another home by a specific date. If that date well, if you're unable to fulfill that contingency before that date expires, then you could terminate the contract and get your earnest money back. But you've got to be able to show that you have made efforts to sell the home or rent the home out. And that is just one example. Another good example might be if the purchase is contingent upon approval of the bankruptcy court. Let's say that you're in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and you want to buy this house and you have had your bankruptcy attorney file a motion to incur debt, which is something that you'd have to do in order to purchase this house, and your motion to incur debt is denied because you made the purchase of the home contingent upon approval of the bankruptcy court, and the bankruptcy court didn't approve your motion to incur debt, then you'd be able to terminate the contract and get your earnest money back. My point is this: if there are any other contingencies in the contract and you are unable to fulfill whatever those contingencies are before expiration of the contingency period, you can terminate the contract and get your earnest money back. But back to the due diligence period, you just need to do all the research, everything necessary to satisfy any questions or concerns that you have about the property before that due diligence period expires. Now, there may be situations, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, where you've had the home inspection, you've tried to get an electrician or an HVAC person out before expiration of the due diligence period, and you're unable to secure a date before expiration of your due diligence period. What can you do? You can request an extension of the due diligence period. And in my experience, in situations like that, most times the sellers are willing to agree to give you a few extra days to secure those additional inspections that you may need.